Hey Saber fans, Jimmy from Jimmy's Saber Junk here. Today I'm going to be walking through the OneReplicas EEMk hilt. This hilt is available through their Etsy store. Just go onto Etsy and type in OneReplicas. They usually have a super stunt line, which is what they're kind of known for at the moment, but this is a markup on the super stunt in terms of engineering, parts, how it's made. It's really awesome. OneReplicas, they're really talented people. Great saber makers. There are lots of untalented saber makers out there. OneReplicas is not one of them. He's somebody who deserves your support, a lot of attention, because he's producing these for a really good price point, very low price point. So this is going to be a walkthrough, kind of the hilt in general, and also my chassis. And I'm also going to be shouting out Stock from Stock Custom Works. He has got some really cool PCBs that make wiring up a thin neck really simple, and then accent lights that also make wiring up your chassis even more fun, because there's then more wires to add up. But it does make the whole thing look a lot better. So the ones that make wiring up a thin neck a lot easier are these ones here. I hope the light doesn't blind. There we go. They're specifically designed for thin necks, and I'll explain why. Traditionally, when you get a thin neck, you would have to wire up your PCBs in a really awkward manner. You would have to wire up a standard emitter PCB onto the end of here, maybe a blade PCB down here, or the other way around, depends who you are and what you're doing. And then because they're so wide, or they're purposely wide, it's not a design flaw, it's just how they are. You'd have to have it in a PCB holder, extra long wires, shove it down there, either have it on a friction fit, or using double-sided sticky tape, whatever your method of retention was. Wire up through here, have wires sticking out here, solder your PCB onto here, hopefully hold it down in there as you try and put the PCB into its PCB holder down the emitter. Very awkward, very time consuming. When I first started, I used to get messaged a lot about how do you do that, and I have to tell people, you just have to make sure your wires are really short, and it will be awkward, you can't avoid it. This, however, these PCBs make it easier. You can eliminate the depth of the grenade section. And so you'll start up here, wire up this PCB into its holder, and then have the wires sticking out here, and then solder on these PCBs, one of the PCBs onto this end here. And it makes it 100% easy because you haven't got the depth of this to worry about. Also, because they're small, they can fit within the diameter of the thread around here. Really ideal, real clever. Makes it 100% easier. And because I made that 100% easier, I decided to make my chassis 100% more complicated. There is going to be a basic version of this chassis available as well, where there is no accent lights at all. It'll just be print plastic all the way up there with your PCB on the end. So this is my chassis. This will be hopefully available as STLs for you to purchase from the Saberbay, along with the basic version. And I'm hoping Shimino's workshop will be able to take on the basic chassis print as an item to sell from their Etsy store. So let's get this chassis out so I can walk you through it. So there's your sound venting around here. I personally prefer sound venting out the pommel if I can help it, but I think this is also the second best option. Still projects sound really well, nothing wrong with it at all. But if it can be helped sound out of the bottoms, always a little bit better. There we go. So on my chassis that's just gone to sleep, we have the kill switch, a 28mm bass speaker. This is the KR version. This is not the Smuggler's Outpost version, which is extra thick. You can't use that in this Hilt. It'll be too big to project the sound sideways. The reason I'm projecting the sound sideways is because you look at the depth here, I haven't got a lot of room to run wires around the back and back up the front to then point towards the board. Equally, projecting sound towards the board is not a good idea. You create a lot of vibrations already with a speaker attached to your chassis. The last thing you want to be doing is projecting sound into your board. You'll have misfires in terms of blasts, in terms of clashes. Sometimes it can throw off pretty much anything to do with the function of the board. I have found that a couple of times. I'm not a huge fan of pointing speakers towards boards whatsoever. I'd always rather point it out sideways and out the bottom rather than towards boards. Mini ran over. So yes, not a Smuggler's Outpost, just a regular one. It still projects the sound really well. Still really loud. You've got a removable 18650 power keeper battery. Slots in quite nicely. Profi board, 2 switches that line up with the spring loaded plungers on the hilt. Very nice. And then we've got a crystal chamber. Now I utilised 2 little crystals in the chamber. And then we've got a plasma gate up at the top, which utilises the stock Custom Works ring PCB, the medium sized one. It sits at the bottom of the grey section here. The reason I have separated this out so you can print them in different colours like I have, it's up to you. You don't have to do that, you can print them all same colour and paint them. It's entirely up to you what you do. It's going to be your hilt after all. And then we've got the stock thin neck PCB on the top here, which butts off against the one inside of here. Rather nice, rather neat. Quite fond of this hilt, to be honest. Very well done.
Master Destroyers!
Master Destroyers. So let's slide this up here. Oh, sound font is by Jesse at Kyberphonic as well, so go check him out. You might be able to tell I'm a bit of a fan. He does some great work. Slide your main bit of the pommel over, and then you can put your pommel cap on over the top. So, plungers. You can wire them up to be either the aux or the power. It's entirely up to you how you set it up. This is just how I did it. You can see that looks rather nice. And then I will thread this in as well to show you that the connection is made through the stock Custom Works thin neck PCBs. Overall, great hilt. There are many talented saber makers out there, many great hilt makers out there. OneReplicas is one of them. There are many untalented people out there producing hilts for high-end prices that are not great for customers, not very well constructed, overpriced, not very well thought out. This is not one of them. This is great. Always been a fan of what OneReplicas does. I'm also a big fan of what Stock does. I think what he does for the community is great as well. What he's able to produce to help us with technology to help us install our lightsabers. Absolutely awesome work. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little overview, taking a bit of time to shout out some other very talented people in the community. Yeah, have a great day. I'll see you all later. Bye.